Welcome my friends to a Red Dead Redemption 2 discussion video. So in today's video I wanted to do essentially what I did in my last video, which is where I took a look at the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition and judged whether or not it was worth it. And so today I want to do a similar thing but with the Red Dead Redemption 2 Collector's Box. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take a look at everything that comes with this Collector's Edition, which by the way is quite a lot of things, and then just simply decide if it's worth it or not. As always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below and tell me if you think this is worth it. At this point we all know the drill, so let's just jump in. Now the first thing you should know about the Red Dead Redemption 2 Collector's Edition is that it doesn't actually come with the game. So this Collector's Box costs $100, and if the game was included, I would say it would probably definitely be worth it. But this Collector's Box does not actually come with the game itself. So is $100 for all of these things without a game worth it? Maybe, maybe not. So if you want to buy this edition with just the most standard version of the game, it will be $160. Now they have even more expensive versions of the game going all the way up to $99, so if you want to get this collector's box with the ultimate edition of the game, that's going to be $200. So, you know, I want to leave up to you in the comments, is this worth it? Now we should just go through all the items. So the first item up on this list, and arguably the centerpiece to this edition, is the metal tithing box with lock and key. Now the description reads, inspired by the lockbox used by the Linde gang to stash contributions to the camp's upkeep, this thick gauge metal box includes a lock and key and features black metal band detailing and an engraved Cornwall Freight and Commodities plaque. So essentially it's a stylized box, I'm guessing to keep all these other goodies within it, although the game of course will not be included with all those goodies. Now of course this box does have practical use. It can obviously store in all these other goodies within the box, but you know, it could probably also store whatever you want, any kind of knickknacks, pretty much anything you want you could probably put into this box. So it does have practical use, but it doesn't really blow you away as a collectible item. Like if it's on your shelf, it doesn't look, there's not much detail to it. It's a red box with the Red Dead Redemption 2 logo pasted on it. In terms of it on your shelf as a collector's item, you know, compared to like a Fallout helmet like we see in the Power Armor Edition for Fallout 76, that helmet has detail, it's from that world, it does look good, it looks good on a shelf. This not so much, but this does have, I would say, more practical use than the helmet does, so you kind of have to balance it. Ultimately it comes down to, do you want a Red Dead Redemption 2 themed box? Personally, me, I wouldn't. But then again, if you are hardcore Red Dead fan, go for it, I would say. But, you know, when it comes to things I'm going to put on the shelf to collector's items, a box isn't really up there. A power armor helmet, much more. You know, a Pip-Boy, way better than what I think is just a simple box with a nice Red Dead skin over it. Okay, so moving on to the next item, the Collectable Challenge Coin. Now the description reads, featuring the majestic American buffalo on one side and a scenic landscape on the other, this engraved gold-coloured collectible coin comes in a magnetic presentation holder with a black engraved plaque describing the history of the endangered species. So for various coin collectors out there, this item is going to probably spark excitement within them. I understand there's a lot of people out there who get excited when it comes to things like metal coins, and I'm glad that they're actually using a metal coin, although of course it's not real gold. It is gold coloured and it is a metal piece of thing. You know, it is, the item itself is metal and it is actually magnetic, which I think ups the value a bit more, seeing as how, you know, it's not just a plastic, you know, mock coin, it's actually a real coin, had to be made from metal, magnetic metal, so you can see a lot went into it. This is actually what I like about this whole edition, is the box looks like it's very high quality, the coin looks very high quality, everything here looks quite high quality, the pin set seems to be metal, and to me that's what I really like about this edition, is that they are made from decent materials. It's not just cheapo plastic. Like, I'm looking at my Pip-Boy right now and I can just see the shiny plastic, and if it was metal it would be worth so much more. So it looks like decent craftsmanship and time has gone into these items, and they look quite rustic, and that's what I like. You know, they're achieving that kind of Wild West theme with their rustic metallic wood materials. It beats just that plasticky Chinese, you know, item look that just came off a production line. So, you know, if you like coins, I think this would be worth it. You know, it's a collectible coin, there's not going to be many of these out there in existence, and of course it has Red Dead Redemption branding, so if you're a fan of coins and the Red Dead universe, then this is definitely worth it. it. Now, just to slide in my own opinion, I don't collect coins at all. I have no use for coins. I don't really care for coins. So for me, nah, not really, but I can definitely see the pull for this item out there. Now we have probably one of my favorite looking items in this collection is the double-sided puzzle. So the description reads, this double-sided 100-pieced wooden jigsaw puzzle features an illustrated view of the bustling port of Saint Denis. Now that could be Saint Denis, whether it's French or English, either Denis or Denis on one side, and a classically inspired Rockstar Games logo on the reverse. So it's a double-sided puzzle, so you know you can get twice the fun out of it. And again, I like this item because it's more entertainment. It's another piece of, I guess you could say it's almost like another game within the collection. It is a puzzle. Puzzles, you know, can be very fun. And this is a 100-piece puzzle. It's nothing special. It's only 100 pieces. It's not a huge puzzle, but still generally interesting as a collector's item. It beats the normal like lithographs and stock artwork that some devs put in collector's items, where this is a puzzle. It's actually interactive to an extent, and you know, some puzzles alone are worth, you know, upwards of $40. I know this is only a 100-piece puzzle, so it's nothing spectacular, but you know, you're paying for, you know, the unique artwork, and again, it is a collector's item, which they're probably not going to be hitting the production line with these puzzles anytime soon. Very limited number of these puzzles. It's not like they're going to be selling them all over the world in shops and in toy stores and stuff, so you have yourself a unique puzzle, and I think it's pretty cool. Now, you're going to see a trend with all these kind of videos where I give my own opinion. Essentially, it's going to be hard for me to find a item that I personally want to get when it comes to a game, because I'm not too in collecting, and that's just my personal kind of opinion. I don't really like collectible items, but again, I can definitely see how other people will like all this stuff. But for me, I just want to get down into the game. At this point, my personal opinion doesn't really matter. I'm just going to most probably give, you know, my honest opinion on if I did like these items or not. Okay, moving on to the 6-shooter bandana. The description reads, a staple for any frontier outlaw, this bandana features a traditional paisley-inspired pattern with hidden weapon iconography throughout. So a Red Dead inspired bandana. I could definitely see this item being a pull for people who like cosplaying. You know, maybe I can definitely see after the release of this game a lot of cosplayers wanting to dress up as Red Dead characters, seeing as how, you know, it's going to be a huge popular game and everyone's going to want to dress up as those characters because it's going to be so popular and so big. But for me, a bandana does not work for display, and that would be the only reason to get this bandana for me, would be for display. And a bandana doesn't really work for display unless you hang it up and frame it or so. It just doesn't look cool on display, and I would never be wearing it. I would never wear a bandana in my life, to be honest. So yeah, this doesn't do much for me, but again, maybe for some cosplay players, or again, just so people can own it because it's a rare item, I guess, and it is Red Dead branded, so that's always an option. Me personally, it's one of the weaker items in this edition. Now we have, of course, at this point, you guys are going to know that I love and appreciate maps. This is a treasure map printed on durable, unrippable paper. This exclusive treasure map reveals the location of some buried treasure that may start Arthur on a search for more riches hidden throughout the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. So again, you know that I love maps. If there's one collectible item that I appreciate, it is maps. For some reason, I don't know, I just love maps, especially when they're made of rustic kind of material like that Skyrim cloth map. I think they're some of the most worthwhile items because they are maps and they are one-of-a-kind maps, very rare maps. But I'm kind of interested actually reading this description because it reads that this may start Arthur on a search for more riches hidden throughout the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. Now that is interesting. Now of course Arthur is the main character, he's who you're going to be playing as in the game, and it's almost like they're saying that this real life physical map will lead you to in-game items perhaps. That is a very interesting idea, and that description has honestly piqued my interest, and it would seem that this actually leads to some kind of item in-game, which would be very interesting to find out if this is the case. Next up we have the pin set. Now it reads, this set of 6 individual pins includes representations of key weapons from Red Dead Redemption 2, including a shotgun, revolver, and Deadeye X marker. The set comes in a canvas carrying bag. So again, it looks like they've got some decent materials in this. The canvas carrying a bag looks very rustic. The pins, they look metallic. It doesn't actually state if they're metallic, but I'm hoping they are, especially since they did go with the metal coin. I don't see why they wouldn't go with the metal, you know, pins. So they went for the metal box as well with the metal lock and key, so it seems like these items are going to be made out of metal. So again, I know that there's a lot of pin collectors out there. It looks like Rockstar is definitely doing well in targeting collectible items that they know a lot of people out there will want to collect: coins, maps, and pins. I know so many people who collect pins, and there's a huge community of pin collectors out there, so I can definitely see a lot of people wanting to get in on these pin sets. Again, the next up is a decent collectible item that there's a huge community of collectors out there for: playing cards. Now it reads, commemorate the outlaws of the Bandana gang. This fully illustrated deck of playing cards featuring key members of the gang, including Arthur Morgan, John Marston, Javier Escuela, Bill Williamson, and Dutch Vandalin. So again, there are so many people out there who collect different kinds of playing cards because they all have different art on the back, and from the small picture I'm looking at now, I'm really liking the artwork. It looks very rustic, very cool, very detailed. And like the map, it's another item that gives you more entertainment value, stuff you can actually do with practical use. So with the map, you have some fun there with the cards, you can play games, you can play poker, you can play blackjack if you like playing those games, or you can just mess around with the games, or you can just look at them from time to time because you like the artwork. It's kind of like having a small art book as well as playing cards, so I would say that's definitely worth it in my opinion. Now this is an interesting item that I'm not really sure the purpose of. So it's the Wheeler Rawson & Co. catalogue. It reads, the one-stop shop for everything from weapons to clothing, the Wheeler Rawson & Co. catalogue is an essential shopping tool for turn-of-the-century life. This complete 150-page book is a replica of the edition found in stores throughout Red Dead Redemption. Okay, so it's a 150-page book. That is quite extensive, actually, and it would seem that they have replicated the book that will be used to shop for items in the game. It's 150 pages, and I'm guessing it will include most of the items that could be found in the game. Okay, so it works as kind of like an art book, I guess. So these 150 pages, I'm guessing, will contain like all the weapons that are in the game, all the consumables, that kind of thing. Okay, so essentially it's like an art book, and hopefully it will have some in-game descriptions as well for the items. Interesting, actually. So I'm guessing this is an art book, which again, many players out there love collecting the art books. I actually have an art book myself. It's very cool, so I can definitely see where this comes from. That's quite an interesting one, actually. Okay, so the last item up on the list is the 12 cigarette cards. The description reads, these beautifully illustrated collectible cards can be found throughout the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. This physical collection includes one select card from each set, like famous gunslingers and outlaws, stars of the stage, and marvels of travel and locomotion. Okay, interesting. Cigarette cards. So they're just like little pieces of artwork, I guess. Interesting. Honestly, from what I'm seeing, doesn't really do much for me, but I'm sure there are people out there who can definitely find some use and appreciation for these cards. Okay, so let's just kind of wrap this up. Now, honestly, if you're a fan of the Red Dead series, if you're a fan of collecting things, for $100, honestly, you get quite a lot of things here that are definitely interesting. And honestly, I don't think Rockstar will be making any of this stuff again, so you'll definitely have what is going to be a very limited number of these items in your collection. So honestly, for $100, it's not bad, actually. You know, honestly, if the game was included, just like the most basic edition of the game was included in this collection, it would be it would be so worth it. It would be such a steal. But of course, the one thing that's kind of tipping me off is that it doesn't have the game with it, which is a shame. So it's $100. You've already got to ask yourself, are these items all worth $100? Let's just say you're going into a shop and you had $100 to spend to pick out collectible items. Would you be happy spending $100 on all this stuff? That is just the question you have to ask yourself. Now, just remember, this does not include the game. To have this with the most basic edition of the game, it will be $160. So yeah, I'm in kind of a tough spot here. I'm not quite sure what to think. Maybe if they added an extra $20 on and included the game, it would be definitely worth it for $120, but I'm not quite sure. $100 for this. You know, honestly, I think you have to be the right kind of person to appreciate this, and that if you do have some disposable income, then yes, it is probably most worth it. But you know, if you are, you know, strapped for cash and you don't really get a game that often, probably don't go for this. Now, I will say it is better than a lot of other collectibles editions out there. There's a lot of things you can do with it, practical things. There's the box, for instance, which can be used for storage, and then you've got things like the cards and the puzzle, which you can actually play with, so it's like added entertainment, I suppose. So there's arguments for and against this. So honestly, I want to leave this up to you guys now in the comments below to tell me if you think it is worth it. And I think now that's really all I have to say for this. My friends, if you like what you see, feel free to leave a like, and if you do want to see more, consider subscribing. My friends, remember, hitting that bell button, turning on those notifications also helps me out a lot. It would be much appreciated. And feel free to follow me on Twitter as well, links in the description down below. My friends, your viewership is always appreciated. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.